Beneath the glow of blazing torches inside a shadow-drenched palace, a breathtaking beauty raised a ripe peach to her lips. Her sultry smile had barely formed before. In the span of a single heartbeat, a trickle of blood slid from her nose. Her eyes went wide in shock, and she collapsed lifeless to the floor. No blade had touched her, no scream had pierced the air. But death had arrived all the same. Behind that fleeting moment lay a dark secret. A nine-tailed fox spirit trapped in a human shell that was rotting away piece by piece. And by her side stood a bloodthirsty tyrant, willing to turn his harem into a sea of corpses for nothing more than her smile. When the throne runs red and a 1,000-year curse is shattered, the world is thrown into a storm of schemes, betrayal, and annihilation. And this is only the beginning. Let us first briefly review the plot of the previous installment. The king of Shang, Yin Zhou, led his forces and his son Lu to attack Su Hu, the Marquis of Jizhou. At the fall of the city, the blood of the Yin beast accidentally broke the seal of the nine-tailed fox buried in the Xuanyuan tomb. The fox demon possessed Su Daji and followed the Yin beast back to Zhaoge. At the victory banquet, she was seized by the demon. Taking advantage of the chaos, Yin Zhou ascended the throne. But the turmoil in the mortal world disturbed the heavens. The immortal Jiang Ziya of Kunlun, under the order of the primeval Lord of Heaven, was tasked with finding the one who could resolve the heavenly calamity and save the common people. Only the ruler of all under heaven could open the investiture scroll. Nezha and Yang Jian were sent down the mountain to find the true master. But when Jiang Ziya arrived in Zhaoge, he discovered Yin Zhou was not the one chosen by destiny. He fled with the investiture scroll. Yin Zhou ordered a full pursuit to secure his rule. Yin Zhou devised schemes to lure the four great marquises into attacking so that he could accuse them of treason. He forced the four heirs to kill their own fathers. Cheng Huhu was slain by Yin Biao. Jiang Wenhuan killed Jiang Huan. Chu Eishun was executed by Yin Zhou. Yi Chongyu was killed by palace guards. The Marquis of the West, Ji Chang, was thrown into prison. Ji Chang's eldest son, Bo Yikao, went to Zhaoge with his uncle, but was brutally killed by Yin Zhou. Ji Chang's second son, Ji Fa, once saw Yin Zhou as a hero. But as Yin Zhou's atrocities were revealed one after another, Ji Fa slowly recognized his true nature and was filled with grief. Yin Zhao, son of Yin Zhou and Queen Jiang, sought to kill the Nine-Tailed Fox Daji, but he was framed by her for treason. On the execution grounds, Yin Jiao was beheaded by Yin Biao. Yang Jian arrived too late and could only carry the body to Kunlun Mountain. Ji Fa fought the Yin beast in a life-and-death duel and finally killed it. With Jiang Wenhuan's help, he escaped Zhaoge. At the Mengjin Ferry, Lei Zhenzi rescued Ji Fa and escorted him back to Shiki. After many hardships, Ji Fa reunited with his father Pan Jun in Shiki. But after Yin Zhou's death, the Nine-Tailed Fox sacrificed 1,000 years of cultivation to revive him. Next came the second wave of the story. Nezha and Yang Jian carried Yin Zhao's body to Kunlun Mountain and placed it before the primeval Lord of Heaven and the 12 Golden Immortals. The primeval Lord saw that although Yin Zhao was dead, his vital energy lingered, and even the investiture scroll could not claim him. The reason was that his heart held a deep resentment. A person with such powerful grudges, if revived, could bring disastrous consequences. But Jiang Ziya firmly believed that Yin Zhao was the true ruler destined for the throne. Only he could open the investiture scroll. Now that the heavenly calamity was upon them, reviving Yin Zhao was the only way to calm the wrath of heaven and save the people. The primeval Lord led his disciples to form a great array and summon Yin Zhao's soul back into his body, restoring his life. But in the very next moment, a sudden change occurred. Yin Zhao turned on them and began absorbing the power of the immortals. To stop the 12 golden immortals from being drained, the primeval Lord bore the entire burden himself. When the chaos ended, his hair had turned completely white. This plot point was absurd. A saint reduced to weakness by a mortal draining his power. Meanwhile, the Shangrand preceptor Wenzhong returned victorious after 10 years of bitter war. Behind him came 4 giants, the demon family 4 generals. As Wenzhong entered the city of Zhaoge, the third eye on his forehead opened at once, granting him the ability to see the truth of good and evil. He reported to King Zhou and handed over the captured prisoners of war. The king appeared weak. It was Daji who told Wenzhong that Ji Chang's son Ji Fa had openly defied the king and retreated to Shiki. Since the king was too ill to lead an army himself, she hoped Wenzhong would campaign in his place. Wenzhong declined, citing the need to serve the gods, and offered to retire. At that moment, Deng Chanyu, who stood beside him, stepped forward and volunteered to lead the expedition. She vowed to take 800 soldiers and the demon family 4 generals, and swore that if she did not capture the rebel that very day, she would answer with her life. The king immediately agreed and bestowed a suit of battle armor upon her. Deng Chanyu left the palace to the cheers of the soldiers. Over in Shiki, although Jifa had endured countless hardships to return home, his life was coming to an end. At his funeral, a Shang messenger arrogantly told Jifang that King Zhou had survived and now sent him Yin Jiao's Demon Queen sword, along with the chest that once held Su Hu's severed head. Jifa understood at once. The king wanted his own head. If Jifa would take his own life, the king would spare the people of Shiki. The messenger left him with the choice: one man's death or the destruction of an entire state. It was not long before Deng Chanyu's forces reached the river. They hired boatmen from Shiki to build a floating bridge, but halfway across, Jifa, disguised as one of the boatmen, offered her a drink of welcome. The next second, the bridge collapsed. Soldiers plunged into the river while the disguised Shiki troops escaped toward the opposite bank. Unfortunately, the demon family 4 generals were there to haul the drowning soldiers back up. Deng Chanyu urged her horse forward, leaping from section to section of the bridge until she reached the other side. Jifa lured the enemy deep into a trap, planning to crush them with falling boulders. But again, the demon family 4 generals ruined the plan. The moment the green cloud sword appeared, Shiki forces were thrown into disarray. Even Lei Zhenzi could not prevail. Realizing the danger, Jifa ordered a retreat back to Shiki, but Deng Chanyu pursued relentlessly. On a narrow cliff, the two fought fiercely. Deng Chanyu pressed the attack while Jifa struggled to hold his ground. Both fell from the cliff. By luck, neither died. Jifa tried to slip away, but Deng Chanyu clung to him. Enraged, he grabbed a stone but could not bring himself to strike her. Instead, he tied her up. To his surprise, she regained consciousness and immediately seized him. They fought again. Although Deng Chanyu's skills far outmatched his, the battle quickly ended with her striking him unconscious with a staff. When Jifa awoke at night, bound to a tree, he angrily questioned her. Did she know what King Zhou had done? He listed the king's countless crimes, each more appalling than the last, and asked if she would not rebel if she were in his place. She replied she would never believe the words of a traitor. Then Jifa spotted the shadow of a wild boar and warned her. The beast charged. She lit her cloak to draw it away and climbed a tree, but the boar rammed the trunk until it broke. As Jifa was about to be killed, she leapt down to intervene. Together they fought. She hurled the 5 light stone to finally slay the beast. Jifa used the chaos to slip away into the trees. The next day, Jiang Ziya was still fishing by the river when he noticed crows flying toward him. It was clear that Shen Gongbao was using magic to find him. Before Jiang Ziya could slip away, more crows swooped down and lifted him into the air. At the critical moment, Jifa rushed in to save him. Jifa then told him all that had happened recently. The war had already reached Shiki, and Shiki's soldiers were no match for the Shang forces. He had ordered the people to abandon Shiki and retreat deeper inland. Jiang Ziya was shocked. As the ruler of Shiki, how could Jifa hand the city over to Yin Shou without a fight? Once Shiki fell, no other feudal lords would dare resist, and Yin Shou would truly become the master of all under heaven. The realm would sink into even greater darkness. Jiang Ziya urged him that for the sake of the people of Shiki, he must not give up the city. As they spoke, Lei Zhenzi arrived and took them both back to Shiki. Jifa saw that neither the people nor the soldiers had obeyed the order to retreat. Instead, they had organized themselves to defend their home to the death. Deeply moved, Jifa decided to redeploy the defenses and vowed to live or die with Shiki. Meanwhile, Shen Gongbao, through his crows, learned where Jiang Ziya was. At the same time, Yin Shou once again sank into a nightmare of the past, reliving the day at the royal sacrifice when he stabbed his father and threw him to the assassins while he himself fled with his eldest son. The memory haunted him without end. He woke in a panic, and Daji hurried to comfort him. To repay his kindness, she was using magic to transfer his wounds to her own body. In 49 days, his injuries would be completely healed. But her own body would no longer be able to bear the strain. Yin Shou refused to let Daji leave him and planned to find her another body to possess. At that moment, Shen Gongbao came with news. Jiang Ziya and the investiture scroll were in Shiki. Yin Shou longed to lead the campaign himself, but his body was not yet recovered. Instead, he summoned Wen Zhong to the palace and put on a show. He pretended to give Wen Zhong the royal seal and say that when he died, Wen Zhong should take the throne. Wen Zhong refused in alarm. Yin Shou then told him that the investiture scroll was in Shiki and that to remove the heavenly calamity, the Shang must seize it. This convinced Wen Zhong to act. By then, Deng Chanyu's army had reached Shiki's borders. The towering giants of the demon family 4 generals stood ready. Jifa and his men asked Jiang Ziya if he could use magic to defeat them. Jiang Ziya sighed and said he only knew how to fish now. Jifa asked when it was best to fish. Jiang Ziya replied with a faint smile that night fishing was best. That night, Lei Zhenzi slipped into the enemy camp. He found Mo Licking asleep and unguarded. Seizing the green cloud sword, he flew into the air. Mo Liqing awoke furious and chased after him. At that moment, Jifa, disguised as a scarecrow, led his men to attack. Flaming arrows set the camp ablaze. The soldiers rushed to report to Deng Chunyu that they were under attack. She kept her composure and ordered her troops to hold position. But when she went outside to inspect, the camp was already in chaos. She learned that the green-feathered bird seen in the canyon the day before had stolen Mo Liqing's sword, and that all 4 demon generals had gone after it. Seizing the chance, Lei Zhenzi lured Mo Liqing into a trap prepared in advance. Working in perfect coordination, Jifa's forces killed Mo Liqing. His soul entered the investiture scroll. Much later, he would be enshrined as the heavenly king of the south, but that was far in the future. At dawn, Jifa returned to Shiki with the captured Green Cloud sword. Jiang Ziya was not pleased. Killing 1 demon general did not change the overall situation, as Commander Jifa should have used the opportunity to capture Deng Chunyu and strike at the heart. Now the chance was lost. He warned that there would be a fierce battle at sunrise. Jifa was undaunted. If they could kill 1 demon general, they could kill the other 3. Soon both sides lined up for battle. The war drums thundered. Deng Chunyu was determined to win. In her eyes, Jifa was greedy for small gains and knew nothing of real warfare. She beat the war drum and the 3 remaining demon generals charged. Jifa led his troops to meet them. Just before they clashed, Lei Zhenzi dropped a giant net over the demon generals. Jifa moved to finish off Mo Lihong, but Mo Lihong opened the demon canopy umbrella which sucked away all the swords of Shiki's soldiers. Then he unleashed a storm of blades that cut down many men. Jifa ordered a retreat to Shiki, but the demon generals broke free and gave chase with full force. Shiki's soldiers had no strength to hold them off and urged their horses to run faster. Deng Chunyu targeted Jifa directly. In the chaos, Jifa's men left him exposed at the rear. He was nearly trapped outside the drawbridge. Deng Chunyu leapt forward and grabbed him, but Mo Lihai, lacking intelligence, attacked both friend and foe, forcing Deng Chunyu to fight him as well. Jifa escaped unharmed and even pulled Deng Chunyu to safety when she faltered. The battle turned into a siege. The demon generals released the purple golden flower drilling rat, a creature that could dig through anything and soon would break the gates. But it was suddenly yanked out and smashed down again and again by a towering 3-headed 6-armed figure. It was Yin Zhao, now empowered by the primeval lord's magic. His 3 heads each bore a different expression, one of anger, one of sorrow, and one of majesty. Neja and Yang Jian told Jiang Ziya that the returned Yin Zhao was far beyond the demon general's ability to face. Yin Zhao struck down Mo Li Shou in a few blows. Mo Lihong attacked with the umbrella while Mo Lihai assisted. A storm of fire and wind enveloped Yin Zhao. When it cleared, he was unharmed. In moments, he killed all 3 demon generals. Yang Jian and Jifa tried to restrain him to prevent further killing, but he slew Mo Lihai anyway. Something was clearly wrong with his state of mind. After Jifa saved Deng Chunyu from Mo Lihai, he brought her to the stream and revived her. She thought he had ill intentions, but instead he removed his armor, knelt, and said he would surrender. She tied him up in confusion. They had not even lost the battle yet, so why surrender? Jifa said that when he had followed the Yin Beast to destroy Jizhou City, he had personally ruined the homes of others. He did not want Shiki to become another Jizhou. He would give his life in exchange for the safety of the people. Hearing this, Deng Chunyu agreed and escorted him back. Meanwhile, King Zhou was choosing young maidens for Daji to possess. Daji examined them and chose the most beautiful. She gave the girl a peach to eat. The girl died instantly from poison. Daji tried to seize her body, but after saving King Zhou so many times, her own cultivation was nearly gone. Her primordial spirit was fading, and even her soul could not be drawn out. She could no longer leave her body, and it would soon decay completely. Wenzhong rode his steed Mochilin to Shiki. He had fought for the Shang all his life and would not watch it fall. Shang soldiers soon brought Jifa into the main camp. Wenzhong was puzzled. He had not even fought a battle, and the enemy commander had surrendered. Jifa said it was surrender, not guilt. Yinsho wanted his head, and he would give his life to save Shiki's people. Wenzhong refused to relent. Shiki had rebelled and must be destroyed to show Shang's power. Even if Jifa yielded, the city would fall. His true goal was to find Jiang Ziya and the investiture scroll. Deng Chunyu tried to persuade Wenzhong to spare the civilians. Wenzhong struck her across the face and called her a disgrace to her family name for defending the enemy. She replied that the Deng family never killed innocents. Her sword could slay foes, but never common people. Since they walked different paths, they would part ways. That night, she secretly freed Jifa and fled with him, but Wenzhong caught them. At that critical moment, Yin Zhao descended from the sky, 3-headed and 6-armed, and pulled Jifa onto a horse. He told them to flee. Facing Wenzhong, he declared that the crown prince had returned and demanded he kneel. Wenzhong was shocked to see Yin Zhao in this form. Yin Zhao revealed all of Yin Shou's crimes: the murder of his father, brother, wife, and child, and the conspiracy with the fox demon to usurp the throne. He accused Wen Zhong of blind loyalty. Wen Zhong said he served the Shang dynasty, not Yin Shou alone. Even if the true crown prince stood before him, he would not betray the king. Yin Zhao warned him to tell Yin Shou the prince had returned, and that if Wen Zhong set foot in Shiki again, he would be killed. Deng Chanyu returned Jifa to Shiki. Jiang Ziya did not welcome her and told her to leave. Jifa insisted she stay, knowing that she could never return to Zhaoge alive. Jiang Ziya reluctantly agreed. Yin Zhao soon returned, greeting his brother joyfully. The primeval lord had warned him before reviving him that his resentment toward his father kept his soul from dispersing, and that he must learn to control his anger. If he did not, it would lead to disaster. Yin Zhao feared he was losing control and gave Jifa the Demon Queen's sword, telling him to kill him if he lost his mind. Daji's face began to rot. She hid from King Zhou and told him to choose a younger woman. A maid's blindfold slipped and she screamed at the sight. The king killed her in anger. Wen Zhong arrived with news that Yin Zhao lived. He advised restoring Yin Zhao as crown prince. Yin Shou pretended to agree if Wen Zhong could capture Shiki and take the investiture scroll. Daji overheard and was suspicious. Yin Shou explained he planned to kill Wen Zhong after he returned with the scroll. Shen Gongbao obtained a new treasure from the Master of the Heavens, the 5-poison gourd. He used it to turn the hostages in the dungeon into puppet soldiers without life or fear, perfect for battle. In Shiki, the people celebrated their survival and Yin Zhao's return. Even Deng Chanyu was dressed up and teased about marrying Jifa, making her blush. Elsewhere, Wen Zhong prepared the 10 Absolute Killing Array, a dark formation that could capture souls. Only those who drank a special brew could move freely inside it, and those who did wore a special mark on their necks. When Wen Zhong activated the array, mirrors floated into the sky and shone light into Shiki, stunning soldiers and civilians into unconsciousness. Lei Zhenzi tried to smash the mirrors but could not alone. Jiang Ziya recognized the formation and knew the only way to break it was to destroy the altar. The group split up to search while others defended the gates, but Shang soldiers breached the city. In the streets, Shiki forces were overwhelmed. Jifa herded civilians into his residence. Nezha and Yang Jian were nearly struck by the mirror's light, but Lei Zhenzi shielded them. Yin Zhao joined them, using a cloth to protect Lei Zhenzi as well. Jiang Ziya saw the mark on the necks of the Shang soldiers and remembered seeing it on Deng Chanyu. He realized she was Wen Zhong's spy, and her surrender had been an act. She appeared and took him away on horseback. She had agreed to deliver him and the scroll in exchange for sparing Shiki's people. But Wen Zhong now ignored the deal and demanded the scroll, saying the king had ordered all of Shiki destroyed. Deng Chanyu returned the scroll to Jiang Ziya and told him to run. Jiang Ziya fired a signal firework into the sky. The Shiki defenders recognized the firework as the mark of the altar's location. Nezha and Yang Jian fought to buy time. Jifa ran toward the signal but was slowed by Mo Lihong's attacks. Yin Zhao shielded him with a plank, but Wen Zhong's magic shattered it, and the light struck Yin Zhao, rendering him unconscious. Lei Zhenzi carried Jifa to the altar where Jiang Ziya lay collapsed. Jifa wanted to reach him, but Deng Chanyu urged him to kill Wen Zhong and end the array first. Nezha fell to the light. Yang Jian was struck while saving a child. The Shang soldiers smashed Jifa's gates. Jifa climbed the altar and prepared to strike, but Wen Zhong said killing him would also kill everyone who had drunk the special brew, including Deng Chanyu. Jifa hesitated, his feelings for her holding him back. Deng Chanyu climbed the altar and forced his sword down to pierce Wen Zhong's protective shield, stabbing him in the forehead eye and breaking the array. The Shang soldiers disintegrated like sand in the wind. Deng Chanyu, mortally wounded, apologized to Jifa. He told her she had saved Shiki and that it was her home. He sang the love song they had first heard together. She turned into points of light in his arms. The civilians awoke, safe at last. Yin Zhao dreamed of his mother, the queen, smiling and teaching him to play the zither. He woke filled with resolve to avenge her. Soon Yin Shou saw him outside the palace and was attacked, but the Master of the Heavens blocked the blow. Wen Zhong survived, but Shen Gongbao arrived with an empty chest. Wen Zhong knew the king wanted his head. He attacked Shen Gongbao, but Shen Gongbao beheaded him and turned Mo Qilin into a venomous beast. The puppet soldiers flooded into Shiki. This was the entirety of Fengshen 2. The series had collapsed in reputation. The problem came down to 2 points. First, the director had distorted Taoist deities beyond recognition. Second, the visual effects looked like they cost 5 cents. These together destroyed audience expectations. The primeval Lord of Heaven, a high Taoist god, was drained of power by a mortal and aged into a white-haired old man. In the original work, he was a being born of chaos, the ancestor of all gods. In the film, he was reduced to a battery. The Master of the Heavens fared worse. Once a majestic figure wreathed in golden light, he became a dark Western fantasy villain like Voldemort. His golden turtle island turned into a demon lair. Yin Zhao's three-headed, six-armed form, originally divine, was rendered as a translucent plastic blue monster, mocked as a cross between a Smurf and an Avatar alien. Taoist believers protested, only to be threatened with video takedowns. This was like painting the Forbidden City to look like Disneyland. The visual effects were a disaster. Yin Zhao's form took 8 years to make, yet showed obvious glitches. The Demon Family 4 generals were mocked as giant Teletubbies. The 10 Absolute Array became 10 giant searchlights. Neja's Heaven and Earth Ring battle looked like a sci-fi movie. Mo Keelan's fire breath copied Western dragons. Lei Zhenzi's wings looked like a knockoff from Avatar. 30 billion yuan was spent, and the effects looked like cheap ads, leading viewers to suspect the money had been laundered. Both issues pointed to the same root cause, a lack of respect for traditional culture. To appeal to so-called international tastes, the director turned Feng Xin into a hybrid of Western fantasy and copied Hollywood effects, revealing ignorance of native aesthetics and treating tradition as a traffic gimmick. Even the role of Deng Chanyu, played by Narana, was disrespected. In the original, she was the wife of Tu Xingsun. In the film, she was forced into a romance with Ji Fa, turning a valiant general into a love-struck pawn. Feng Shen 2's failure proved that without cultural roots, flashy effects are empty, and that without respect for tradition, bold changes are nonsense. Such mismatched storytelling hurt both fans of the original and those who hoped for a faithful telling of Chinese mythology. That is the end of today's review. Thank you for watching. Your likes, comments, and follows are the greatest encouragement. See you next time.